What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Joshua's Proximity. So there is some breaking news. Officially, the Baltimore Ravens have signed Jaire Alexander. Now, if you remember my last episode, I was on record saying this could possibly happen. We knew that the Ravens needed help on the outside. We knew that they have gotten rid of Marcus Williams. Marlon Humphrey is getting a little bit older, is not really the same coverage guy that he once was in his prime. Even though he had a career high in interceptions this year, majority of them came from the nickel spot. And you want to see them move him to a strong safety position because he's still a thumper, but not really more so a cover guy right now in his back end of his career. So he officially signed for 1 year, $4 million. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a great signing. You know Lamar Jackson, this is his guy. They go back to the Louisville days. He's still a guy that can cover at an elite level. His biggest concern is his health. I don't know what was going on with him last year in Green Bay, but he is a superstar corner. He is a X factor on Madden for a reason. He's a guy that's going to instantly upgrade anybody's defense. And if you want to be quite frankly with you, the Baltimore Ravens they've been a championship contending team for quite some time, especially at the way that Lamar Jackson is playing and just everything that they have at the helms of their feet and everything. But you add a guy like this, it is only right that you believe that it's an upgrade for the Baltimore Ravens. So they did a fine job in actually going out here and signing Jaire Alexander. So shout out to them, kudos to them, and what have you. But I do want to transition. So we do know that the NBA Finals is currently going on. Now, you guys remember all about Tyrese Halliburton. I have been on the record stating he's just not a guy. I mean, you've seen it last time and time again. This past game 5, he actually ends up straining his calf muscle, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have taken a command 3-2 lead. I already stated once the Oklahoma City Thunder won that game and they came back against Indiana, I put it on all my social media. The series is over. This series is officially over. You're not going to see a situation where they even get a chance to come back. Oklahoma City Thunder, I told you last week, congratulations on winning the 2024-2025 NBA championship because the Indiana Pacers, they just don't have anything for you right now. I mean, this guy that you're currently about to be looking at, he hasn't showed up in the biggest moments. The best guy on the Indiana Pacers right now is Pascal Siakam. You could even argue that Tyrese Halliburton probably isn't the third best player in this series on the Indiana side. Andrew Nembhard, obviously Pascal Siakam. That's why he got Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Miles Turner has showed up more than a Tyrese Halliburton. And I'm not going to just blame the injury. This past Game 5, he has not been producing the 4 games prior to. He is a guy that's kind of just lost in the sauce right now. And that's why you see a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander taking a commander lead in this series. That's why you see guys like, what's my guy's name? Wiggins and the other Jalen kid out here actually producing. They know how to show up. And it's kind of baffling that you're going to go home and lose this game all because your superstar or supposedly superstar is not producing. There's been a lot of people out here protecting Tyrese Halliburton, say that he is that guy. He's not that guy. He might be the most overrated player like the NBA players have voted. He shows up one night, he doesn't show up another night. He's not going to show up in Game 6. I'm about to make a huge projection. I believe that the Indiana Pacers are going to lose Game 6 by, I think they're going to lose the game at least by double digits. Easily. Double digits, maybe 16 points. That's where I'm probably going to be heading at right now. So if you're a sports bettor, you definitely want to look in that area. They're not going to have a chance to win this game Game 6. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder run away with it in convincing fashion. You're going to see a couple early timeouts from the Indiana Pacers, all because of Tyrese Halliburton and his nursing injury, currently speaking. Now, if you remember, or if you've been following me for quite some time, you know how I feel about this next quarterback and this next segment that I'm about to be talking about. This is the guy right here, right now. Trevor Lawrence. He has been a no-show for quite some time. I think that it's time to consider him a bust. I understand the Jacksonville Jaguars went ahead and paid him his money because they wanted to go out there in front and be in front of the market. But this guy has not produced for quite some time. I was on the record saying I believe Justin Fields was the best quarterback coming out of that draft. And the more that you look at it, that whole draft just quarterback-wise, I think Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, they just don't have a lot of guys that really came out that draft. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the same draft that Trey Lance came out. That really might be one of the worst drafts at quarterback that we've seen in quite some time. When you just look at Trevor Lawrence and his comparison to Daniel Jones, everybody, including myself, I have labeled Daniel Jones as a terrible quarterback. But look at these stats. 64 completions percentage Daniel Jones compared to 63 against Trevor Lawrence. And this is career stats. So Trevor Lawrence has had more passing yards per season, but Daniel Jones has had more rushing yards per season. The average QBR passer rating, Daniel Jones has been better on a yearly basis. The QBR, Daniel Jones has a higher quarterback percentage career-wise over Trevor Lawrence. He has more touchdowns, barely more than 2 interceptions. One was labeled a generational talent coming out of college, and this guy that you see on the left side of your screen is labeled as one of the worst quarterbacks of this generation. I told you exactly what he was coming out of the draft. I said that he has played well and phenomenally great against lesser competition. You saw it in the college football playoffs when they played against Ohio State. He didn't produce. I don't understand what GMs need to see more. If guys are not producing at the highest level, if they're not competing and balling against stiffer competition, what makes you think that he's going to do extremely well in the National Football League? I had a lot of question marks coming about him in the draft, and it's kind of getting stamped. I think right now this is going to be the last year of Trevor Lawrence. If he does not produce with the addition of a Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., a new head coach, you got to move on from him. And it's okay. He just might be a backup quarterback, and that's okay. All right, so just to transition, just to a little more serious topic. Before I even get into it, I do want to go ahead and address this. I don't believe that anybody, especially civilians, should be dying. I'm an American citizen first. I always stand behind American troops and Americans in general. But I would be very remiss if I didn't talk about what's going on in Iran and Israel. All right, so for those of you that don't know, Iran and Israel have been at qualms and arms and disputes for quite some time. We know that Iran has been labeled and has been labeled a state of terrorism. They have been looked at as a source of terrorism for quite some time. But the recent attacks that Israel has commenced, it's really raising more questions. When you just look at the geographical landscape of Israel compared to Iran, Israel is literally reportedly to be the size of New Jersey. Iran is about maybe the size of Texas. If you're looking at the YouTube channel, Iran is one of those countries that's pretty large, has a lot of hills and mountains and obviously some deserts. The thing that I am kind of looking at sideways is, why did Israel feel the need to go ahead and eliminate and assassinate a key negotiator in this whole ordeal? Now, I do understand that you don't want a terrorist nation to have nukes. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. I understand everything that you're saying when it comes to that. But when you just look at Israel's on the left, Iran's on the right. When you just look at the overall landscape of things, we have been in talks and in negotiation with Iran for quite some time. I'm not sitting here saying that a deal would have fell through, but you go out here, you assassinate a key negotiator. Yes, you attacked and destroyed multiple nuke sites. That's what you're seeing right here on your screen. Just the different areas that you have bombed. But when are we going to talk about Israel and them attacking multiple countries outside of Iran? They've attacked a plethora of other neighboring countries, and I understand Iran might be funneling money towards those different militant groups, but Israel is definitely. I'm not in favor of this. I'm not in favor of sending American troops to go out here and fight Israel's war. I'm just not in favor of it, and that's okay. I think that Israel and Iran need to figure this out on their own. I think that the United States, yes, you don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I understand that. But at some point, we just got to stay out of the way. Like I said, Israel is the size of New Jersey. You're out here, you're bombing neighboring countries. You're bombing Iran. Hell, even Israel's prime minister or president has been on the record since 1995 stating that Iran is 2 weeks, a month, a year away from acquiring nukes. He's been saying that for the last 3 decades. I was born in 95. He's been saying it since 95. Iran is this close to getting nukes. Okay, where? Do people not remember that we sent American troops in Iraq to look for weapons of mass destruction? Like, do people not understand that we have been in these other Middle Eastern countries? Like, I'm just tired, just currently speaking as an American citizen, I'm tired of sending American troops overseas to regulate and do foreign affairs. And I understand you, like I said it earlier, I understand you do not want a terrorist country to have nukes. But at some point, I got to call a spade a spade. Israel is out here wilding. Iran is out here wilding as well. I just think that there has to be a better viewpoint on how we're going to do negotiation talks from here on out, because it's going to get bad. I don't know how bad it's going to get, but Iran has promised to retaliate in some ways that we have never seen before. But like I said, just look at the geographical map. Look at the size. Look at the comparison. The orange is Israel. The green is Iran. Obviously, that has nothing to do with their source of power and all that. But at some point, we got to call a spade a spade. And once again, man, Joshua's Proximity, baby. We out.